myself. Sometimes it's in love, sometimes I can barely decide. Sometimes I promise this thing, but I fly around the hype. Sometimes I buy a loud nose into ears I don't even have. Sometimes my sting, that's the love. Sometimes I just want to mong at the club. Sometimes my yellow does not mingle with the mellow. Sometimes my wings can barely fly. Sometimes my endeavors can't even try. Sometimes I forsake the truth and just lie. Sometimes I cook meat and force it into a pie. Sometimes I want to cry, but somehow exchange it for a high. Sometimes I'm fed up enough to die. Sometimes I just need to roll the dice. Sometimes I have too much to entertain mice. Sometimes they nibble until it's too nice. Sometimes nice is just not the correct device. Sometimes correct is just not as tasty as spice. Sometimes my taste is not precise. Sometimes I summarize baby one concise. Sometimes this life is parasitic like rice. Sometimes I'm cool, way cooler than ice. Sometimes I grab, holding tighter than a vice. Sometimes my strength is its own demise. Sometimes I look hard enough until I find. Sometimes I lose all that is mine. Sometimes my life is all just in the pan. Sometimes I'm just up against the grind, up against the grind. I say look, she need black boy. As always, I'm all things but one. A prisoner overseeing the world from behind bars. A slave adhering to the master for fun. A chaser of dreams, keeping a catalog of scars. A cooker of taste, reddish placed in between a bun. A mercenary polishing a memento of scars. A healer underpaid for a large body of work. A glistering light like the moon brightening under stars. A new day will coming, continue to rock the rising sun. A right batch of food prepared for storage in jars. The loud crack disturbing the peace like a fired gun. A golden relic out of this world like Mars. A newly born old soul carrying a load heavy as a child. A music maker chanting tradition until it's almost monotonous. A warrior priest heavily armed, I'm troublesome. A fresh breeze when the air around is vaporous. A villain to the wicked, to them a barrage is cumbersome. A life coach to a horde of believers. A multitude of entities but not one. A spiritual awakening slapping silly old sinners. I'm all things but I'm never done. I'm never done, I'm all things.